Today we're going to talk about the second part of the human condition. We're going to cover personality, basically. Okay, let's get going. Okay, personality. Everybody has a personality, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Some people are outgoing, some people are withdrawn. Everybody has a personality. And when we go into an environment or we start living within an environment, we will start expressing ourselves in that environment. And 9 times out of 10, it will represent who we are, the type of person we are. And we can see it in different ways. So let's look at this. Individuals develop in environments that reflect and reinforce who they perceive themselves to be. We will strive to create environments that best satisfy our personality needs, whether or not that environment is supportive or not of our children or our offspring. Because 9 times out of 10, we're the ones that are doing the decorating, or we're the ones that are buying or shopping or whatever, and we will buy what we like. When we are doing the children's rooms, we should be involving them in that process and asking them what they like, so that room is also representative of them. And as they get older, they'll do the same thing. But it's very important that you do that with children, because it will help them develop a self-confidence and be more assured of themselves as they grow older. So the last topic on this page: through the creation of a particular environment, we shape our offspring's personalities and futures. I know when Amy was growing up with me, I saw her grow in the way in which she would arrange her room, or things she would pick out for her room, or even in her clothing. And we help shape the children as to how they're going to handle things throughout life, not only their behavior, and we saw that in the previous chapter, but in how they're going to decorate their own homes, their own rooms, even now. Okay, what are the primary components of a personality? There's 2 indicators or 2 tests that we can take. One is called the Big 5 inventory, and the other is called the Myers-Briggs type indicator. The Big 5 inventory, also known as the BFI, was developed by Oliver John, and he discovered this through statistical analysis of looking at how different personality traits are correlated in humans. And then the Myers-Briggs type indicator, the MBTI, was developed by Catherine Briggs and Isabel Briggs Myers, and they expanded on the personality types that were already developed by Carl Jung. And this included a judging, perceiving function. And we're going to look at both of these. The BFI dimensions are very broad, and each one of them consists of more than one specific trait. There's different ones. And some of the titles are kind of strange, but we'll get through them. The first one is extroversion. This is also called surgency. These people are talkative, energetic, and assertive. They don't mind taking charge. They're usually leaders. The second one is agreeableness. These people are sympathetic, they're kind, and very affectionate. So these are the ones that would be maybe leaders, but more than not, they're going to be somebody that's going to follow. But they'll be very, very loyal and very supportive. Conscientiousness. These people are organized, they're very thorough, and they're able to make plans. They don't like their plans to be turned upside down either. They want to make the plans and stick to them because they're so organized. Neuroticism. This sometimes this is reversed and called emotional stability. So these people are tense, they're moody, and anxious. So this person would be the type that'd be like, when are we going? What are we doing? And sometimes they just drive you crazy because they cannot calm down. They're we call them neurotic. Okay, the last one. People that are openness to new experience. Um, these, we sometimes call this intellect or culture. These people are interested, they're imaginative, and they're insightful. You combine them with somebody that is extroverted, the extroversion, you've got a very powerful leader because they're willing to take some risk and get out there and make things happen. Now, the MBTI. In the MBTI, they look at 4 primary personality dichotomies. A dichotomy is something that has 2 parts, okay? So when you put all these together, you end up having 16 possible personality profiles. Each of the 4 dichotomies there's an opposite. So we have introvert, extrovert, sensory, intuitive, judger, perceiver, thinker, feeler, and these are the ones that have been identified, and they will end up with personality profiles such as INTP, ENFJ, and so on. So let's look at these and understand what they're about. So the introvert extrovert. We're going to look at the extrovert first. These people have high energy levels, they prefer to multitask, and they thoroughly enjoy being around other people. They talk more than they listen, they act before thinking, and they can be very easily distracted. And no, they're not hyperactive, they just have a lot of energy. And they like to be involved and take charge. They usually prefer to be physically closer to others. So when we're designing for these type of people, these extroverts, we want a more open housing plan, open office plan. They want to be with people. They don't want to be cut off. So you're not going to have it compartmentalized. You're going to have it open. I'm very extroverted. I like to be with people. I don't like to be closed off unless I'm really working on something and I've got to be focused. Then I close myself off so I don't get distracted. So this is the extrovert. Let's look at the introvert. The introvert are usually quiet thinkers. They enjoy time alone, and they appear to be reserved. Not necessarily, but they appear to be that way because they're quiet. They prefer being in a supportive role. Therefore, they won't be a leader. They'll stand behind you 100% of the time if you're the leader, but they want to be in the background. They tend to focus on one task at a time, and they have a great capacity for concentration. They prefer the safety of separation. In other words, they want to be compartmentalized. They want their own cozy little space, not a big open area. They would feel very uncomfortable in that type of space. Sensory intuitive. Let's look at the sensors. The sensors will focus on details rather than the big picture. They view life as a step-by-step process and don't mess up their processes. They want to go one thing after the other after the other. So they're very focused on details. They're very practical. They're aware of finer points and subtleties. They're able to remember significant attributes and comments. So they're detail people. They're very pragmatic, meaning that they live here in the here and now, and they tend to trust actual experience. So one time they've experienced something and it's gone well, they'll continue to do that same thing over and over and over and over again because they know it works. The intuitive person of the sensory intuitive dichotomy. The intuitive person is creative in their thought processes and they're inventive in their ideas. So these people would make very good inventors and creative people for sure. They prefer their environments to be more complicated. They consider future implications. What's going to happen tomorrow, or what's going to happen a month from now or a year from now? And they'll plan according to what could happen. They focus on big picture potential. They trust their gut instincts and they really enjoy learning. So these people they'll run with whatever they feel like. I mean, if they're not sure of something and they're really sure of something else, they'll go with whatever they're sure of. Or if something is more exciting than something else, they'll go with something that would be more exciting. They're intuitive. They'll take risk. They'll get out there and they'll take risk. Okay, the thinker feeler. We're going to talk about the thinkers. The thinkers are very reserved. They draw conclusions from objective facts. They respond best to rational, non-arbitrary arguments. They are honest and direct. They value honesty and fairness. They are motivated by the end results. They're very business oriented. So when they want you to do anything design-wise for them, they want to know how much it's going to cost. They don't necessarily care about how it's going to look, but they want to know how much it's going to cost. And guys, sometimes you'll get into the field and you will have one of these working with, say you're working with a couple, and she wants one thing and he is looking at the bottom line, and they're fussing in front of you, and you've got to figure out a way to save the sale. So you have to think on your feet with these people and sometimes negotiate with them so that they know that they're getting the best value, because they're thinkers. They're looking at the bottom line. These people will see more flaws and they will point them out. So they'll argue with you, they'll debate with you. They want to know that they're getting the best. They're thinking about it. They're really assessing what's going on, and you have to meet those needs for them. The feelers. These people make decisions based on personal values and how they feel at the time. So their mood can affect this. A fight that they had with their spouse in the morning can affect how they feel. It depends. So they change because their mood changes. They appear to be very warm and friendly. They're very diplomatic and tactful because they don't want to hurt anybody's feelings because they feel. And so they don't want to do that to somebody else. They value harmony. They take issues personally, and above everything, they will avoid conflict. They do not want to get into an argument with anyone. Okay, the last one, judger, perceiver. The judgers are more serious and conventional in their preferred design styles. Okay, let's take a look at a lawyer. What is his design style? What is the design style of most typical law offices? 9 times out of 10, it's classical. And that is because it's a style that has been there for centuries, and it's known, and people can trust it, and they want to be trusted. So therefore, that style is one that says you can trust me. So you can pretty well read that in there real quick with somebody that's a judger. Their style preference will be more classical. They tend not to mix work with social activities. So if they're working, they're working. If they're having fun, they're having fun, and they do not mix the two. They will expect dedication out of anybody that's around them. They expect it of themselves, and they expect it of people that work with them. And they do not respond well to delays. So you can't tell them, oh, I can't do this. They'll get upset. And they will put the same expectation on themselves. They have to get things done. They tend to make decisions pretty easily, and they base those on rules, and they also are not very creative. They're all about order. They do not care that much about the creative side. They want it kind of that process, step-by-step order. Okay, the perceivers. The perceivers are more playful, and they're very unconventional. They value the freedom of spontaneity, and they like to keep their options open. I am definitely a perceiver. I like my options open. I'm forever not setting a date and making a plan, and then I wait till the last minute and I can't get the flight or whatever. So, because I keep my options open too long. But I am very much one of a spontaneous person. The perceivers have difficulty making and adhering to decisions. They are oblivious to time and schedules. They value creativity, especially when it goes against the norm. And I think a bunch of us in this room are like that. We just tend to like to do it a little bit different, but that's okay. That makes you a good designer. Okay, what I want you guys to do is take this test. I will also put this in the directions or in an assignment for you. I want you to take this test. When you get through with the test, I want you to then take a screenshot of it and then upload it to this for the assignment. And this is kind of a built-in extra credit, and you get a 100, a grade of 100, and it counts just like a regular test. So I want you to get this done. And like I said, I'll get that ready for you. Okay, the last slide of this that we're going to talk about in this section, there'll be one more section after this, is the screener and the non-screener. This is what we talk about when we're in a group of people, and say you've gone to dinner with some friends and you are sitting there and y'all are trying to talk, and at the next table there is a couple with some children, and the children are being very loud. 9 times out of 10 at your table, there's one of you that can screen out that noise and it doesn't even affect you, but the other one is really annoyed by the noise. And they'll be like, can they just make that baby hush? Maybe we need to move, or I know you guys have been through this. I know you've been there. So this is our ability to filter out unwanted environmental stimuli. It could be noise, glare, odor, you name it. Mostly we tend to think about noise, screening that out, but there's a lot of things in the environment that we could screen out. So screeners are less affected by the stimulus. The screeners can say, I can deal with it. It's no big deal. Non-screeners, though, are bothered and annoyed by that unwanted stimulus. Okay, guys, this is the end of this one, and I will have the third part up, and it will be the end of the chapter tomorrow. So check back, and I will see you later. Thanks.